we're going to start off by learning how to thread our needle. So I've got my needle on my magnet so I don't lose it on the floor. And I'm going to take my thread off of my thread bobbin. We don't need to use really long pieces of thread because if we do, then it's more likely to tangle up. So I've got an amount here that's not too long, and I've just snipped it off my bobbin. So the first thing we need to do is to tie a knot. Now it's important to do that before you put your thread onto the needle, because you're going to be moving it around, and if your needle was threaded it would probably fall off. So to make your knot, what you're going to do, you might have different methods of doing this. What I find to be quite useful is I just take a little piece at the end, because we don't want to waste too much of what's there, wrap it around your finger and make a loop, and then you can just pinch that loop with your thumb and your forefinger. And what you need to do is this end here needs to come behind the loop and through the middle. So you might need to make that tail a little bit longer. So I'm going to poke it underneath and I can use my finger to push it through. So now that's come through. This is quite thick thread that we're using for this project. So I'm going to push my knot down towards the end of my thread, and I've got a small knot there. So I think that's going to be a little bit small. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to repeat one more time, making the loop, making sure that my knot is in that loop, poking the end through. Can be a bit fiddly. And if you pull it really slowly, you can make sure that your knot ends up in the same place. So now I've got a double knot. You just give it a tug on there and it will keep it nice and tight. So that's our end with our knot. Now I need to find the other end of my thread. Okay, now because we have got this nice thick thread and we've got needles with quite a large eye, that's the part there that we put the thread through, it should be fairly simple. What you should do is you're going to get the thread between your thumb and your forefinger, and if you pull it down so there's barely any thread showing, okay, that means that it's not going to move much when you're trying to put the needle on. So if you get your thread in position, you can pause the video while you do that if that helps. And then what you're going to do is you're going to bring the needle down over the top of the thread. Okay, if it's moving around, if you've got too much thread above your fingers, it's going to wobble around, it's going to be really difficult to catch. So I'm making sure I'm pulling that down almost till it's touching my fingers. Okay, bring the eye of the needle down over the top, it's come through, and then I'm using these fingers to pinch the thread and pull it through. I don't need to tie a knot in this. If I tie a knot in it, it's going to cause me all sorts of different problems. So you just have enough thread pulled through so that your needle will stay on nice and securely, and you've got your knot in the end. And that is how you thread your needle.